What does the first round landscape look like coming out of the 2024 NFL Scouting Combine? We're doing a mock draft here today on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast.
You are Locked On NFL Scouting with the Draft Dudes, your daily podcast for NFL and college football scouting. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's better than this? It's guys being dudes here on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast. We're the Draft Dudes. I'm Joe Marino from Locked On Bills. He's Kyle Crabbs from Locked On Dolphins. And we are your NFL experts here with you daily to talk team building across the league on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast with the Draft Dudes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Want to issue a big thank you, shout out, and welcome to our everydayers. Those of you who make Locked On NFL Scouting your first listen every single day, we appreciate y'all being here very, very much. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started.
We have returned to our humble abodes. You and I spent some time away from home. You in a very different intensity setting than me. You got away with the misses for a few days. I am back from the 2024 NFL Scouting Combine. We already have our first massive domino that has fallen out of the Combine. Mike Evans this morning agreeing to a 2-year, $52 million contract extension with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Joseph, good morning. Happy Monday. Happy mocking to you.
Yes, happy Monday to you. Congrats to Mike Evans. Bucs fans, I'm sure, are very excited. And I'm very excited for this mock draft. Obviously, the Combine is always a needle mover for some prospects, and I'm anxious to see how some of that shows up in this new landscape.
Yeah. Some really impressive individual player performances. We had some non-participants as well, which is a bit of buzzkill. None less tricky, less sneaky than Jayden Daniels not weighing in. At the Combine.
You ever heard of that? That's unprecedented, right?
Didn't somebody else do it recently? Or like it was like Kyler with his weight was a huge thing, but they didn't show it. They just released a number or whatever. Devonta Smith at the Senior Bowl, Tavondre Sweat at the Senior Bowl this year. And then comes in at his playing weight. We were like, oh, maybe he cut to the 330s. And he came in at 360.
Brother, what was he in January? What was he in January?
That's a great question. It's a great question. We'll never know. Scientists don't even know. But
it was higher than 366.
We also don't know. What we don't know is Jayden Daniels' weight, but what we do know is it's probably lighter than we want to be because he didn't weigh in at the Combine. So not going to change too much. I think, and we said this coming into the week, a lot of the needle moving out of the Combine because of the proximity to free agency, at least for me, is knowing what direction you're anticipating teams are going to go elsewhere is going to help steer the character of a mock draft. But certainly there were some player performances as well out of this that you're like, I'm going to find a spot in the first round for this guy now. Shout out Lad McConkey. I could give you a spoiler alert.
Time out. You had him going to the Chiefs in the mock draft that we did.
But I'm also going to ensure that he stays in because he had an outstanding Combine performance.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Shall we? Robinson.
We'll chop it up.
He'll stay in. Liz. I know you had him in last time, so let's get into it here.
Dun 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 dun.
Thank you.
I'm odds this time. You're evens.
No.
I'm evens. Your odds.
Yeah.
Wait, we just did this. No, I'm doing the odds.
You're doing odds?
Yeah, we just had this conversation. I promise you.
Okay, great. Go ahead.
All right, the Bears.
You're on the clock.
Do you want the odds? I don't. It's not that serious to me. That's literally what we just discussed.
No,
right?
I think we did. I did odds last time because Miami picked 21, and you did evens last time because Buffalo picked 28. And then we said next time we did a mock, we were gonna flip flop. So you're right.
Flip-flopping the Bears at number 1. Feels like all the momentum is for Justin Fields to be traded and for the Bears to pick a quarterback. It's still my belief that quarterback is Caleb Williams out of USC.
So we're going to draft Caleb Williams first overall to the Chicago Bears.
Yes.
Okay. I am using a simulator. I'm using NFL Draft Buzz.
Okay.
In their simulator.
I'm using a really cool spreadsheet that I made.
Yeah, I know you and your Google Sheets. You saw what my Google Sheets have been busy on.
A lot going on there.
Which brings us to Washington at pick number 2, and I kind of teased it. Jayden Daniels' lack of a weight is not going to change too much for his forecast. I think he's the pick at 2. I think when you consider what they have done from a coaching staff perspective, I think when you consider the momentum that exists for Jayden Daniels as compared to the other quarterbacks, J.J. McCarthy's the red-hot name coming out. I think Washington stays at 2. I think they get their second preferred quarterback, which in this case would be Jayden Daniels.
New England Patriots at number 3.
Straight out.
Okay, who wants to come up?
All right. Let's see.
They're not just going to stick and pick McCarthy or Drake Maye?
Maybe.
Seems like the ideal quarterbacks the Patriots would like to have.
I can tell you there's a team that really wants J.J. McCarthy.
Well, why don't they come get him right now?
It's a mock draft. You're in control of that team.
Who are they? Y'all relinquish the general manager rights. Go ahead.
The Minnesota Vikings.
Okay, let's come on up. Quessy, what are you going to give me?
What's the cost to come up to 3? You're
from 11?
Yes.
Didn't this trade just happen with the 49ers and Dolphins?
Yeah.
Like literally?
Ooh.
I'll take that.
That's a hard sell. How about just the 3 ones?
No, I want all the change too. I want all the change, my guy.
It's not my picks. Go ahead. Minnesota up. I've heard they're really hot, and it sounds like Kirk may be on the move. I know ESPN posted a story last night or yesterday that he may be the Atlanta Falcons' preferred choice. That there may be some momentum that goes that way. Obviously, there's a domino effect there because Justin Fields has been linked to Atlanta, so that whole domino effect gets really messy. But one of the momentum pieces out of the combine this past weekend, I know I touched on it on Friday, was Kirk potentially to Atlanta with the Vikings really have eyes with Kevin O'Connell for J.J. McCarthy. All
right, so now the Cardinals are on the clock, and it's still your pick.
Me?
Yeah.
So how are you just going to keep New England at 11, and that's how that's going to work?
I'm just going to do the odds. That's what I'm going to do. If it's an odd number, I'm going to do the pick. It's my big plan.
But I just did one of your odds.
That's okay. You trade. I'm totally fine. You're with the Cardinals.
The Cardinals are going to draft Marvin Harrison.
Oh, turn in the card, he said.
Yeah, we're going to run that one in real quick. Pretty obvious need for Arizona to just draft talented players. They have more picks than anybody in this year's class, it feels like. Harrison kind of surprised some people by standing pat, not really doing anything other than team interviews, including not doing media availability at the combine. Don't care. It's just like I don't really care that Caleb Williams said I'll do medicals for the teams that I visit with as compared to doing the combine hoops to jump through.
All right. Chargers on the clock here at number 5. I feel like all the momentum right now with the Chargers is this offensive line idea, and they're going to have their chance right now at the top offensive lineman on the board. A lot of people putting stock into that comment about imagining Justin Herbert with a run game, and I don't know. That seems pretty attractive. I still want Justin Herbert to throw the ball a ton. So it really just comes down to which offensive tackle, and I think it's Joe Alt, Kyle. I think it's Joe Alt out of Notre Dame. Measured well, tested well. I thought he was the best tackle I watched on tape. Could I see them liking somebody else? Sure. But I feel like the hot name, the right name right now to project if we're going tackle for the Chargers is Joe Alt out of Notre Dame.
Yeah.
We are going to get to the Giants here in just a second. That's a pick for Kyle. Are they going quarterback? Are they going wide receiver? We'll get to that in just a moment, so be sure to stick with us. Get buckets with your first bet on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your bet wins. You can bet on all your favorite NBA players and teams with quick bets, live same-game parlays, exclusive props, and more. They've got football's futures. They got hockey. Whatever sport you're into, FanDuel is going to have some great action for you to check out, and this deal is incredible. Again, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. Just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and shoot your shot. FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NBA.
So the New York Giants on the clock at 6. And I think I'm going to do the thing.
Oh,
I think I'm going to pick Drake Maye, quarterback, North Carolina, working closely with Eli Manning this offseason. I think that's a direction where with the Daniel Jones contract and where the guaranteed money's at there, I think you could put Daniel Jones out this season as the starter. He's dealt with durability issues, so Drake may end up playing anyway. But I think it's a really good stylistic fit. I think there's some overlap with the physical attributes of both players. Drake Maye's a kind of a blank slate, though, without all of the wear and tear and the damage and the bad muscle memory that has come in with Daniel Jones. And then I think the ceiling is a bit higher with Drake Maye than it is for Daniel Jones. And I think the Giants as a team in this position, even though they have a ton of needs, they're also fortunate to say this is an all-time offensive line class. We can come back, and it's an all-time wide receiver class. Like, both of those spots are loaded. So I understand you got needs across the rest of the roster, but just with how it lines up for the Giants and how the board falls, I'm going to pick Drake Maye here at number 6.
The Giants swapping a Duke quarterback for a North Carolina quarterback. What a progression. What a progression. What a progression. All right, Tennessee Titans at number 7.
There's a right answer here.
I love when you do that. It's my favorite thing ever because they need offensive tackle. They need weapons too. But and both of those classes are deep. I wonder what this right thing is for you.
Yeah. Think about what the coach has said at the combine.
If I'd be lying to you if I said I listened to Brian Callahan's combine availability or Tobin. Okay. What is? Oh, I think I caught a few Tobin's comments.
Why? What do you care about Duke Tobin?
I don't, because I'm thinking about Brian Callahan and thinking about the Bengals. That's exactly why. The Titans. I have no idea what they said. What is it, Kyle?
Say we need speed. We need to get faster. We need to get more explosive. We need to score touchdowns.
Malik Nabers, wide receiver, LSU, and a lot of these scenarios that we've worked through previously, we weren't thinking about the Patriots not picking a quarterback. We weren't thinking about the Chargers picking an offensive tackle. That changes things. To me, that makes Nabers available. And Joe Alt's been on every mock draft in the history of the world to the Titans. Now he's going 5. That opens up the path for Malik Nabers, who gets them a lot faster, younger, more explosive for Will Levis, their quarterback.
Outstanding. Which brings us to the Atlanta Falcons, who we are operating under the assumption, in my world, based on Minnesota trading for J.J. McCarthy, that Kirk Cousins is an Atlanta Falcon, which does some really fascinating stuff to what Atlanta can do at number 8. You could go wide receiver, right? Rome Odunze out there. It's
a heck of a receiver. That'd be a good receiver for Kirk.
Did you see him running 3 cones after everybody else left?
Yeah. I love what he said, man. What was it beforehand? Is a lot of Nabers and Harrison, they didn't participate in it. Of course, Odunze did. And I loved what he said. He's like, I want to measure myself against the all-time, right? Like, I want to know where I stack up. I love that. Like, I respect any decision that you make, right? There's a lot at stake here, but I love
strategy. Yeah,
I loved what Odunze said there.
Not scared to compete. Unlike that guy at the combine didn't ask Rome Odunze if he was scared to compete like he asked.
Lord. You can't get out of a combine without some weirdo during the press conferences, right? Like, just
and he stood on it like five times afterwards. He's like, had to make sure that I stood out in the crowd and get my question answered.
Yeah.
Okay. I kind of want to go corner too for Atlanta.
I was thinking about it. If you want to capture true combine hype, Kyle, turn in the card.
Quinyon Mitchell.
Let's go.
Ran 4.3, had 20 plus bench press reps.
I love that.
As like the big corner. Now he's not the biggest corner, but like Terrion Arnold came in a little smaller than I think some people thought. He came in around like 189, I think is what Terrion Arnold weighed in. Quinyon Mitchell, man, had a good Senior Bowl, has good tape, now has a great combine, checks the athletic boxes, checks the physicality boxes. That's a great add for Atlanta that I think really gives them a nice complementary piece in the secondary. If you're going to get AJ Terrell back on track, you got Jesse Bates at free safety. Lock me in Quinyon Mitchell at number 8.
I was sitting there thinking that the whole time, and then you pulled the trigger, and I think that's really fun. I think that's a true example of how we are allowing the new information from the combine to affect the mock. And I think that's a big part of our objective here today. I have the Bears at number 9. And let me tell you, they could not be more excited that you did not pick Rome Odunze, because that's going to be the selection right here. Especially we go Caleb Williams with that top pick. And what I like about Odunze to Chicago is obviously the presence of DJ Moore, right? We're not asking Odunze to come in and immediately be the number 1 receiver. We have one of those in DJ Moore. But Odunze as an on-schedule player that I think is a good route runner that will get to his landmarks, I think that will be helpful for Caleb Williams as we maybe have a 4,000-yard passer sometime in the next 2 to 3 years.
On the rookie contract, Caleb's going to get.
Yeah, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Just follow the lead here. They can certainly go defense. There's no doubt, but we just picked Caleb Williams at number 1, and we traded away Justin Fields. We are stocking the cupboard full of opportunities on offense, and that's what we accomplished with Odunze.
Jets at 10. We're going to pick an offensive line. We have to pick an offensive line.
Brock Bowers is right there, Kyle Crabbs.
Brock Bowers is right there, but
you know what? Rotational defensive lineman here for the Jets you can add?
Stop.
Maybe a safety.
The one offensive lineman that could stay on the field, even if it wasn't playing at a high level, they've gotten rid of.
Get out of here. You're the most
You played 17 games. Get out of here.
That's too many. Yeah. I'm not used to that.
Ruined our opportunity to continue to play musical chairs and set the all-time record for offensive linemen started in a season.
Which one do they like?
It's a question of who.
Yeah. And it's fun to consider that, right?
Because Olu Fashanu's just kind of floating along,
producing this thing.
He's not producing.
It's funny because it's the Jets, and Chris Schubert's a Jets fan,
right?
He's writing scouting reports on these offensive tackles, man.
Fired up about it.
Look at our guy;
he's doing good. I think I'm gonna go Marius Mims.
Kyle Crabbs is letting the NFL scouting combine impact his decisions, which was the goal today.
Yeah, well, time out. Who did I text you about in September?
You're right.
Who did I text you about in December?
You have a man crush on Marius Mims. There's no question.
So
I have the receipts.
I've held him in this stratosphere. And then he comes out looking like Adonis, 6'7", 340 pounds.
Large. 36-inch arms?
36-inch arms.
Put those things out there.
507, 40-yard dash, like super explosive.
It's faster than me and you.
Correct. And I know everybody got all excited about his short shuttle, and he didn't actually run a short shuttle. Are you up to speed with that?
Yeah, I saw that. It was reported. Then Brugler came out and said that didn't happen.
They were like, Marius Mims at 340 ran a faster short shuttle than Joe Mixon did.
Right.
This whole list of players that this is listed time, and somebody just put it in wrong. And it was actually McCormick from South Dakota State, the guard.
Great time. So can we throw a parade for him? He deserves the parade. And
he set the vertical jump record for offensive linemen.
Got some explosiveness about it.
The Jackrabbits had a guy with some bunnies.
Thanks for being here today. That's
right,
the show.
We're going to sign off now, and they're in right there. I'm going at Marius Mims to the Jets. I think he's going to be a red-hot name out of the combine. The tape is really good. He just doesn't have a lot of starting experience.
All right, Kyle Crabbs. Fun pick. Some fallers here. as we get outside of the top 10. The Patriots on the other side of it, I got a lot to consider with that pick, so stick with us. This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. Have you ever considered what you would do if you had an extra hour in your day? Would you exercise, read, spend time with a loved one, catch up on some sleep? A lot of us spend our lives wishing we had more time. The question is, time for what? If time was unlimited, how would you use it? The best way to squeeze that special thing into your schedule is to know what's important to you and make it a priority. Therapy can help you find out what matters to you so you can do more of it. Therapy is helpful for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself. It's not just for those who have experienced major trauma. So if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. All you do is fill out a brief questionnaire. That'll get you matched with a licensed therapist. You can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Learn to make time for what makes you happy with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/lockedon today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/lockedon.
So just clarification, administrative notes as I float around and produce this thing. It was not McCormick. McCormick had outstanding athletic profile. The Next Gen Stats athletic profile for him had him as the most athletic offensive lineman to test, but it was the other South Dakota State offensive lineman, offensive tackle Garrett Greenfield, who broke the combine record for vert with 38.5-inch vertical. Mason McCormick had a 35.5. So he still has bunnies, just not as many bunnies.
To be that large, 38.5 inches. Just my goodness, man.
Yeah, he came in at 6'6", 311 too.
Can he dunk? Can he dunk?
Yes. I'm sure he can.
Yes.
6'6" with those ups, I'm sure he can.
Two-hand dunk.
So New England Patriots on at 11. Are they going Garrett Greenfield with those ups?
Maybe so. Wouldn't put it past him. Wouldn't put it past him. No, but here's the deal. Like, we traded out of the quarterbacks. So I'm assuming that the Patriots are satisfied with whatever route they're going to go, whether that's a veteran or Bailey Zappi or whatever they're going to do. We're going to go offensive line here. And Trent Brown, just not going to be back. I don't know everything that's going to happen in NFL free agency. Trent Brown's not going back to the Patriots. All right. That ain't going to happen. So for them, I think they hope Mike Onwenu does, but I still think that they need to get another tackle. And I think thinking about what the Patriots do, that they draft offensive linemen, J.C. Latham out of Alabama, all the size, the length. I think they're going to be interested in him and what he can mean for the run game. And obviously got all the length and athleticism to be good in pass protection, but I think they're going to want to run the football. I think Latham will help them do that. They got some young guards, and of course, in Wayne, they hope they get back. I think this will give them a nice offensive line to move forward with.
All right, which brings us to the Denver Broncos at 12, who probably would love to see a quarterback worth taking here with the dead cap hit that Russell Wilson is poised to invoke on this franchise. But I don't see one that's going to go in the stratosphere. I don't, and I'm not going to force it. So instead, we're going to look at the available talent. This is a team that doesn't need offensive linemen, right? Depending on what their personnel moves are, I think it's a hard sell on a wide receiver, especially with the big three off the board. So I asked myself, okay, where is the kind of remaining value? And I think this is where you start to get appropriate value for some of the edge guys. And while Denver has some promising edge players, I don't think it's a definitively open and shut group that you can't feel as though you could upgrade. And with that in mind, I think the top performer from the combine with the best traits is Dallas Turner from Alabama. I'm going to draft him here at 12. Really impressive performance, impressive tape. He was the other guy with Will Anderson there, but he has the tape to stand on as a contender for the top spot. He's more explosive than Jared Verse and Leetulatu. He's more toolsy. I think that gets him a tiebreaker into edge one.
I was interested to see where you were going to go there. because when you started to kind of angle that towards edge, I'm like, all right, who's it going to be?
Yeah.
Dallas Turner. Very fast, very fast. And length too, man. And that was one of my favorite things about watching the tape of Dallas Turner is I thought he had long arms and he used them well. And then they were over 34 inches. Like, all right, that showed up on tape. I got the Raiders. Number 13 overall. Sat here looking at the available options and listening to you talk, and I'm like, I could really go for an offensive lineman here. And I think there'd be some great offensive linemen with what they need potentially at right tackle and right guard, right? That Greg Van Roten, Jermaine Illumineur, a couple of guys that, to their credit, did a nice job, as bridge players, but I'm sure they want to get younger and maybe have some more long-term solutions there. I think they can wait on offensive line. I think the thing that they can't wait on is interior defensive line, where they've got some expiring contracts as well, and quite frankly, need to be better. Byron Murphy, the second out of Texas. Dude is a load, man. I love so much about him. The way that he plays the game, the explosiveness, how powerful he is, how dense he is, how he plays with such great leverage all the time. And he's a powerful dude with juice. I think he's put himself in position to be the top interior defensive lineman. There's other ones that I like. I love Johnny Newton out of Illinois, but I think Murphy's really separated himself. I think he would really give this interior defensive line a major boost.
I was mentally prepared to draft one offensive lineman for the New Orleans Saints at 14. And then you didn't go offensive line, so now I have to pick a different one, which I'm kind of bummed out about because I wanted to pick the other guy. But if Olu Fashanu's here at 14, the Saints are going to make this pick, right? As a team that premium position, Ryan Ramczak's getting up there a little bit. Trevor Penning has not materialized the way that they hoped that he would. Andrew Speed is a contract that has come off the books for them. This is just intersection of positional need or positional value with potential need on the line, with best player available, all intersecting in one spot for the Saints. It's too good to pass up. So I'll draft Olu Fashanu for the Saints, and I hope I get a chance to get my other guy here soon before long.
Man, this is shaping up so interestingly. We've had the top three receivers, and then they've not really gone off the board, and I'm not going to pick one for the Colts here. So, we're going to go into the next half of this mock draft tomorrow with a ton of wide receivers.
Who's to say I won't pick wide receiver 4 for the Seahawks at 16?
I just have a feeling, Kyle Crabbs. I just had a feeling on that.
Okay.
There's going to be some really good offensive linemen available. And so as I look for the Colts here, pick 15, I'm deciding between a corner, which there are some great options, and Brock Bowers, right? I feel like a lot of the Colts fans really want Brock Bowers. So does this come down to we can wait on corners potentially and get one on day 2, but Brock Bowers is the only tight end. And would that be helpful for Anthony Richardson? I think that has to lean into this. I'm going Brock Bowers. Feels just like a nice matchup player for them. I think that allows them to do some 12 personnel stuff. They got a couple of other tight ends that they like. Just the playmaking ability, the versatility, I think will be a big deal for him in this offense. We'll get the corners later on.
Yep, it's a good pick. Good value pick too. We have our first interior offensive lineman coming off the board at 16 to the Seahawks. You think about what they have always been, what John Schneider has. They love some big fellas, don't they? They love bowling balls up front on the offensive line. And you got a 330-pound center in Jackson Powers Johnson.
Ooh, I had it. Is that who you're picking?
Yes.
Oh, I have to take the name off the board. I already had him in.
Great.
Go ahead.
Jackson Powers Johnson to the Seattle Seahawks. They have a ton of expiring contracts between all their utility interior guys. Damian Lewis is expiring contract. So whether it's guard or center, obviously it's a regional pick as well. So they should have every opportunity to be extremely familiar with Jackson Powers Johnson. But he's just got so much momentum right now as being a rangy, big center with overwhelming individual power and really good hands. And that's a combination that you're going to get to this stage. I could see Seattle draft him. I could see Jacksonville draft him. I could see the Bengals drafting. Coleman Shelton is an expiring contract for the Rams. I could see the Rams draft him. I could see the Steelers draft him when they cut Mason Cole. I could see the Dolphins. Like, it's wide open here. And for Seattle, we're going to go ahead and lock him in. Jackson Powers-Johnson.
Kyle, as we look forward to tomorrow, edge rushers, offensive line, wide receivers, corners, they're all there. And I get excited about some of those potential marriages that we're going to have for everyone tomorrow, because it's starting to feel pretty healthy to me in terms of the opportunities that are going to exist top to bottom with this first round.
It's a good class. I would say the top 50 or 60 picks. If you have multiple picks in there, you feel really good about what you're going to be getting. So that is the first half of our post-combine mock. Some new names and new places. Hope you guys enjoyed. Come back tomorrow for picks 17 through 32. We look forward to bringing that to you on YouTube or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. I'm Kyle Crabbs. He's Joe Marino. We are Locked On NFL Scouting.